Shalom, Israel. It's your brother Nubreed coming through with another live stream. Peace and blessings to everyone joining. We have a very informative broadcast this evening, but before we get into all of that, I want to first start off by saying thank you to all you brothers and sisters who have showed your support during my family crisis, and those who have reached out knowing that I had a loss in the family with the passing of my mother. I want to let you know how much your condolences, your prayers have really helped to boost the spirits in our families, boost our spirits. And it is a blessing to have such a support system. Just to give quick details before we get into this broadcast, my mother was dealing with health issues for quite some time, and she no longer has to suffer. And she's in a better place. She gave her life to the Messiah. She is now resting, and she went in her sleep. And we have remained in prayers, remained in high spirits, and we're going to move forward as she would have wanted me to do. Sometimes as men or women, the best thing you can do is keep on moving. You have to go through your grief, but it's important for me in particular to stay busy. Although I know it's going to be times here and there where I'm feeling the loss. However, there's so much going on, and I know that my time and energy is needed, and I have to remain present for you all. I have to remain present for my family that are still here. So I truly give honor to her, my mother, and I give honor to those who showed their support and condolences. Thank y'all so much. Now, we're going to be getting into it this evening, y'all. There's a lot going on in the media. Of course, we're going to be going to our sources. Y'all know how we do. A lot of people have been inboxing me about a plethora of different breaking news that's been fluctuating and making its rounds on social media. My inboxes are loaded. Within the last four days, a lot has happened. You got Trump changing green card rules, major change in green card laws and rules. And then you got Cuba still in the dark dealing with an energy crisis. You got some viral news correspondent who's looked like he was wearing a mask. I don't know if it was a robot, an alien. I don't know. It was one of those creature things, right? And then on top of all of that, you got so much more going on with these data centers. And we got to chop it up about that, y'all, because we're living in a very strange time. We're entering a strange phase. The world is. And that phase is pretty much what the Bible describes as when the scripture tells us, if the Most High did not intervene, no flesh would survive. I would say that the phase the world is entering is more like a self-destructive phase. It's very much self-destructive. And we got to see what they got going on, y'all. But you know how we do. We give nothing but the truth. As everybody enter, I want y'all to do me a solid and get the likes up on the live stream, because we are going to chop it up. With no further ado, let's get to it.
They working against us. They hate our souls. They hate us. They hate our righteous indignation. They hate the exhortation that dwells in us. They hate our love for They hate our conviction. They hate the fact that we repented. They hate the fact that we're truthful, honest, and bold. They hate our courage. Them devils hate us. We're not finna line ourselves up with these weirdos and freaks. With these weirdos and freaks. They working against us. They hate our souls. Weirdos and freaks. But these weirdos and freaks, they working against us. They hate our souls. Nubreed.
Ephesians 6:10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord, and in the power of his might put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation, and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. Before we get into our sources, I just want to greet you all, the good people, by name. You know how we do it. I see Danica Hunter in the building. Easter Wiley is in the house. Hey, the spiritual gift. Tania's in the building. Susan is in the house. One love to y'all. One love to y'all. Mika Love, thank you for the support. She says, sorry for your loss. My condolences to you and your family. I pray God be with you and bless you and your family at this time. Stay strong. God got you. Absolutely. And I definitely appreciate the encouragement. That means a whole lot. And thank you for your support as well. And we are pushing through. And, only thing we can do now is make sure that we represent her the right way and continue putting out that truth, that eye-opening material, and make sure that as a son, I fulfill the purpose that the Lord used to bring, her as a vessel to bring me in this world, and I have to do my service. But thank you so much. But I want y'all to check this out, y'all. Check this out. This right here is something else, y'all. And this particular news clip has been going viral, and I want to chime in on this.
They actually want people to see this stuff. They want people to don't question nothing, laugh at the people who see things for what they are, in your face. Reptilians are among us. Not everybody you see is human. People with discernment, people who have Jesus Christ in their life, we see.
Quits exporting the Islamic revolution throughout the region, causing the collapse of Lebanon, Gaza, Yemen, Syria, and as well.
I'm not saying this guy is a reptilian. He could just be an actor with a mask suit on, which is probably the case too as well. But nonetheless, open your eyes and see. I told you guys, they don't need to hide stuff no more.
Yeah, I believe that viral news clip, it was very much intentional. I believe it was very much intentional. They want to confuse us when we really start seeing these things. You know, they exist, they live. Everything that is walking among us are not real human beings, but they want to make it, they want to get it to the point where we can't tell the difference. Some people are saying that this was makeup being used. You know, this is definitely a mask. This is definitely a play that they're putting on the people. They want us confused to what we're looking at. And so, no, I think Mark the Messenger got it right on that. It's intentional. And it's because they're trying to blur the lines of reality right now. They're trying to use ideological subversion to twist our minds. When these other beings start walking among us very much openly, we're just going to see everything as normal. And they're going to incrementally start putting this stuff in television programs. So you'll get used to looking at weird things on TV where you don't even bat an eye when you're seeing it in person. Yeah, they're really going to start introducing these skinwalkers to the general public. And this is part of the subversion here. I'm telling you. But it's a lot of changes going on within the country right now. And I don't know if y'all heard what Trump did with these green card changes, but it's making his head waves.
Okay, y'all, so we just got terrible news from USCIS. They're basically saying everyone that's applying for a green card, they should go back to their home country. Like, so let's say you came in as a parolee, as a visitor visa, with a visitor visa, student visa, and you marry a US citizen, you usually can do an adjustment of status. Now they're saying it has to be like extraordinary, the case. And the normal way should be to go back to your home country. This is crazy. It just came out today. And I come to the office and what did we just get? A green card. We literally, we made the cut. I'm so glad that my client is going to get the green card because, y'all, things are going to change. I'm going to drop the memo that just came out.
Wow.
Okay, y'all, so we just got terrible news from USCIS. They're basically...
So people are going to have to go back home just to fulfill their green cards, as if America is not already losing traction. You know, this also fulfills biblical scriptures where it talks about people just going to end up going back to their homeland. That's what's going to end up happening here in Babylon. And once this conglomerate known as Babylon is drained out of all the people who built it, what is going to be left of it? You know, that's what's happening right now. Trump is really pushing the envelope. Meanwhile, look at what's going on in Cuba. And by the way, this pastor right here, you know, I don't agree with a lot of things he does or says. However, he's absolutely right to bring this up about the Cuba blackouts and the problems that it's causing.
Every person in ICU in the hospital in Cuba died. Every single person in ICU in the hospitals of Cuba died last night because there is no power. And the president knows it and refuses to send help. Y'all ain't bothered by that? They're meandering in the dark, have absolutely no light because the billionaires feel as if they could just take over anywhere and have no regard for people. Blessed be the peacemakers. Every person in ICU.
And this is just the truth. Every person in ICU in Cuba in one day, in a span of 24 hours, died. And there's no aid being sent. And what you see right now is hyper-normalization of genocide, hyper-normalization of inflation. You're seeing systemic pressure. You know, moral inversion is really taking its toll on the world right now. And then you got this energy crisis because of the artificial dependency that's going on. And I'm going to tell you, with these damn data centers, y'all, I hate to say it, the only way to stop our drinking water from being completely contaminated in America is stop using ChatGPT. That's what it's going to come down to. Unless you got a job using it, you understand, this is how this works. Unless you got a job where you have to use AI or you're doing some type of research for a project, I'm telling you, you got to scale back on it. You got to scale back on it, because I want you to understand, the more you use ChatGPT, the worse the water supply gets. See, it's a price for all of this artificial technology, all this fallen angel DNA, not DNA, but technology. There's a price to pay from what the Anunnaki have given mankind. But we're going to get more into that. Oh, I'm going to unpack that. But one thing at a time. In Cuba, they're out, they still don't have power. They have absolutely no oil left. I'm going to show you some videos of how they're living out there. It has gotten really bad.
Welcome to a day in life in Cuba where there's no electricity, no running water, nothing. So waking up 3 a.m. pitch black, the lights are gone. I am reaching for my little portable fan because it is hot. There's like no turn the AC down. It's real heat. And this is how my day starts. My cousin comes in, goes straight to the shutters, removing all the rolled up paper because the frogs jump into the room. And yeah, I'm actually not even over that. But let's go ahead and talk about the bathroom situation. So there's no running water like we're used to. So everything is filled up with buckets. I have to brush my teeth with my own bottle of water. Yeah, so we have these buckets here. And this is how I took my shower. I use these 2 buckets. I go in the shower, do my thing. I have these disposable washcloths. I use my little tin thing, and that's that. Let's get into this toilet. There's no toilet seats, and every single time you use the bathroom, you have to dump the water down the toilet so that everything goes down. You do this every single time. I'm still grateful to be here in a very humbled way, but yeah, that is the whole bathroom situation. So back into my room, I'm here doing a light beat, getting dressed, about to go see my family and really just give out all the things that they need and tour the town. So I am just sharing this all with you guys to kind of shift your perspective on the things that we have here in America. So yeah, that is all, y'all. See you in the next video.
And you know what? America can reach this very same fate at the rate we're going. You know, a lot of people in Cuba haven't had power in months. They don't have a proper water supply in a lot of places. And so, you know, and here's the interesting part. When it comes to this whole war between Iran, America, and Israel, you're not really hearing too much about bombs dropping or missiles flying, but this Strait of Hormuz is still closed, which is pretty much strangling the world's oil supply. I believe they're doing it on purpose to usher in a new world order. All of these places are on the same page, and they're starving out smaller countries right now. That's what's happening.
There has never been an instance in American history where the IRS agreed as part of a legal settlement to essentially excuse and not audit any person's prior tax returns until today. That is how significant what the DOJ did for Donald Trump, his family, and his companies. Former IRS commissioners are truly stunned because the DOJ gave Trump, his family, his kids, his companies a get-out-of-jail-free card, essentially. If they did anything wrong on their taxes in the past, they don't have to pay unpaid taxes. They'll never get audited. And here's the kicker. They can apply for the weaponization fund and pocket money. Not Trump himself, but his companies could. His family could. I don't think people realize how honestly crazy what happened today really is. Because it's like you file taxes for 10 years and you just agreed with the IRS that the IRS cannot audit any of your prior tax returns. If you made a mistake, they can't go after you. If you lied, they can't really go after you either. They can't do anything. That's what Trump and his family and his companies got today. Follow for more.
Yep, because they're protecting the rich. The elite class are protecting themselves because there's a whole lot of fraud, a whole lot of corruption. America is built on corruption, y'all. That's why it must fall. That's why the Almighty has to judge this place because of how it was built. Listen, I want to go to a scripture here because right here in Revelation 6 and 6, it says, a measure of wheat for a penny. That's describing how bad this inflation is going to get, where a day's wages is going to be a loaf of bread the way things are going. That's what that Bible's talking about. Meanwhile, the rich, they're going to be secured. Why? Because they're basically stalling all the resources and hoarding them for themselves.
Wait until you hear this shit. Overnight, the Trump administration changed rules and changed definitions to make it easier for landlords to evict tenants with service animals across the country. New York Times is reporting that the Department of Housing and Urban Development has changed and narrowed the definition of what an assistance animal is. Specifically, assistance animals that are allowed to live with disabled Americans in housing. This move could eventually lead to thousands of service animals and their owners to be evicted by landlords across the country. Essentially, what they're trying to do is say that emotional support animals would not qualify as assistance animals. And while lawyers that spoke to the New York Times say this could impact a lot of tenants, including veterans with PTSD. So essentially, effective immediately, HUD will exclude emotional support animals and will more strictly police what a qualified service animal is when granting accommodations for disabled tenants around the country. I'll have more updates for you soon.
Yep. So as you can see, they're cutting they're taking any shorts that they can take. Even if that means service animals, being able to evict people. You know, a lot of veterans have service animals. They're trimming, they're what you would call trimming the fat in America. And I seen that Anna Serve said in the chat that her gas seems like it's running out quicker. That's because it is. You know, they didn't watered it down. It went from like 12% ethanol to 10%, if that. Yeah, they're putting a squeeze on people. And I'm going to tell you, man, you know, I've had a lot of losses in my family over the last year. Over the last year, 3 losses in my family. And I'm going to tell you this. They don't have to fight the battles we fighting no more. I believe whatever type of phase the world is going into, you know, some of my family got spared not to have to live and endure this stuff. Like, because when you really look at it, it's going to get real out here. And it looks like they're trying to start some sort of purge, to be honest with you, like, because it's not stopping. And then, you know, these people are just pretty much laughing in our faces while continuing to disrespect the public, disrespect the citizens.
ICE wasn't good enough for Donald Trump. No. Now, if you want to apply for your green card, even if you're already here in the United States, you have to leave. That is going to be the new legal process, according to the Associated Press. That will be the new legal process to get people to sign for their green cards or to sign up for their green cards. It wasn't good enough that he made your life a living hell while you were here. Now he has to send you back, or you have to leave in order to apply for your green card. Opponents of this, or people who are on the same side as this, we are opponents of this, would say that, well, they should have to apply from wherever they came from. But yet they're already here. So why should we make their life so much more miserable? Why should we make it harder for them? That just makes no sense. It doesn't make sense at all. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I'm very curious what the world thinks of this, but
I'm going to tell you what's going on. They want to listen. They're getting rid of everybody because of artificial intelligence. And what I'm about to say may sound it may sound negative to those who don't really understand what's happening, but the game is over. So now it's extermination time. And believe it or not, melanated people, you are a threat to the New World Order. And you are top of the list for these people to engage. This is why they got their race soldiers out there trying to incite violence. These people are already, they are legitimately at war with us. That's what's happening. Why? Because now they don't need the people to build the infrastructure. They don't need them. So the depopulation agenda is real. The AI takeover is here. People don't want to really see it, but that's what's happening.
A Texas woman was arrested after sounding the alarm over the water quality in her town in a Facebook post. The town, Trinidad, Texas. The water looks like this. This is an image obtained by Fox 4. Jennifer Combs, a woman who lives in Trinidad, Texas, posted on Facebook about the water quality in the area. She described the water to look like the Trinity River was flowing through the taps. I mean, look at it. It's brown. It kind of looks like that, right? After her post, in which she sounded the alarm over the water quality in the town, she was arrested. Cops came over, charged her with a felony false alarm or report, and she spent a night in jail. According to Fox 4, she's now suing the police department, claiming that the arrest was as a result of political retaliation. And well, now we're learning that the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality actually confirmed to Fox 4 that it received a complaint regarding the water quality in Trinidad, as you can see, and that investigation is ongoing. Ask yourselves, why would a town want to silence a person posting about horrible water quality in the town by making them go to jail, by arresting them? Spread the word, follow for more. A Texas woman was arrested.
She's going to win that lawsuit because that woman was not committing fraud. And AOC recently posted, she did it in a conference at another county. She showed the water supply. A politician showed the water supply, the damage that's done from these data centers. Are they going to go lock AOC up? See, they don't want the truth out there. And some of these states are pushing back, and they're stopping these data centers from getting being put up.
Just started last night. It gets worse. Like you can put and it's on both sides. There it is. And it got worse. Like the girls went to go take a shower and they started hollering saying, "Daddy, come and look at this." I went and looked. I said, "Golly, Nance," and turned on the hot water side. It was clear for about 5 minutes. Then it was the same way. But you want to know what? I would love. Look at that. Golly, Nance, look at that. Yeah. Oh God, baby. I would love for somebody from the government, county, or somebody to come down, and I like for you to drink it. That's what I want you to do. Drink it, see how you like it.
That shit looks radioactive, y'all. That don't even look, that look like that will literally kill you. One sip will kill you. That's what it looks like.
That's disgusting. That's a brand new well, $11,000 well that me and my grandmother had to get drilled here. Yep. And now, 5-6 years later, we got to deal with this. That's sad. Is that normal? That is not normal.
Yo, that is crazy, y'all. And this is the price of using artificial intelligence. And Listen, when the world powers went to the pyramids and got this technology, they knew it would come with a price. They knew that some people would suffer. They knew some people would be forced to be removed from their homes. They knew it would cause some level of biochemical warfare. They knew that.
They're not data centers, and I don't think we should be calling them that. They're fusion centers. They're collecting data, yes, but there's a much more sinister reason, and there's a reason why there's so many. Why they're pushing to continue building more. It's because they're individual mesh nodes in a vast network. Information on the everyday American, you, me, everyone around us is collected, stored, and often transferred, overseen by the DNI, and shared with local, state, and federal police, ICE, the FBI, JTTF, NCTC, and other businesses with vested interests. They're building profiles on everyone, and you don't want to get flagged by one of these fusion centers. It stores your complete profile. It knows more about you and me than we do. Past criminal history, current proceedings, and tracks and stores all of your physical and digital movements. It has your biometrics and even knows your scheduled movements. This is what they're not telling you about these fusion centers. They're massive surveillance nodes, and a big part of it is so that they can locate and track domestic terrorists.
Yep, they are fusion centers. And it's bigger than just domestic terrorism. It's more so it's hyper surveillance. You know, Satan wants to be like the Most High. Just like the Most High knows everything about us, Satan wants to know the same thing. You know, but you know what the scriptures tell us, Proverbs 22:3. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. Yo, don't be simple-minded out here. Don't be one of those individuals that lean into every trend that's going on. Don't be one of them people getting one of those damn AI cars, you know, those hyper trucks or whatever they call them things. Don't be somebody who lean into every new app that they drop. Don't let these people use, you know, everything that takes facial recognition and all that. Don't do it. Some things aren't worth it. There's going to be jobs that are coming up where they're going to require you to have a chip in your hand just to work, just to get access to certain doors and certain buildings. And listen, all money ain't good money. All money ain't good money. You got to move right. Because we are in the new world order at this point, y'all. Yeah, that's exactly what they are, data centers. And here's that Texas woman who was arrested.
The best way I could describe it is it looks like the Trinity River is flowing from their water taps.
Do you ever expect something like that Facebook post could get you arrested?
Not at all. I did not, because I didn't say anything in it that could be used to cause a panic. It literally states in the post what I was gathering the information for, to be able to report it to the state. I feel like this is an extreme stretch, and I just feel like it's a way of silencing the citizens, and I don't feel like that's what they take an oath for. The best way I could describe it is it looks like the Trinity River is flowing from their water taps.
They came and arrested this woman, for those just joining. They came and arrested her for a Facebook post because they don't want you to know how problematic these data centers really are. Meanwhile, Trump is building this ballroom, and there's some information some of y'all might not have known about that ballroom and how much money, why they're spending so much money on it.
So now we know why that ballroom is going to cost over $1 billion. It has a hospital in it. It's 6 stories deep. It's not a ballroom. It's a bunker. It's a bunker. Why do you think he's building a bunker? He's only going to be there for 2 more years. Why would he care? Why would he invest that kind of money into building a bunker with a fully operational hospital? 6 stories deep. Who do you think he's building that for? What do you think is going to happen when it's time for him to be removed from office?
I know what that bunker is for. It's for all those missing kids that ICE is not showing us, giving us data on. Because it's tens and thousands of missing children. I know what the bunker is for. It's to hide the billionaire elitist, including Epstein, because he's still alive. His name is Palm Beach Pete, allegedly. I know what the bunker is for. It's for your Henry Kissingers and your Rockefellers. And so they can have their damn masquerade parties and eat human flesh and worship Satan. That's what the damn bunkers are for. Meanwhile, the average American citizen is struggling. And see, this is what happens when there's no public outrage when those files was released. This is what happens when Americans didn't make nothing shake. When these people showed you that they was out here devouring children. This is what happens when ain't nobody want to make nothing shake. This is what happens when everybody was being passive and didn't want to really go in on all of the creators didn't really want to go in like they wanted to go in. Like we should have went in on them Epstein files. Now them people going to do whatever the hell they want to do. That's what's happening right now. Them people doing whatever the hell they want to do with our money. Ain't no such thing as government funding. Ain't no such thing as DOJ funding. All government funding is tax dollars, U.S. tax dollars. That's your money, brothers and sisters. That's our money. I don't care if you white, black, yellow, brown, whatever you call yourself. Listen, these satanic PDF files, these Luciferians are doing whatever they want to do on your dime. I'm waiting for America to shake something, make something shake. Real talk. I mean, it's coming because it's only so long they're going to get away with this type of evil. And the Bible talks about this too when it says that we're not going to no longer regard their princes and kings. When it gets to that time and it start getting real wild in the streets where people not regarding these millionaires and billionaires and there really be some rogue citizens going on, it's going to be like Gotham City out here because they really think it's a game, but it's some people who are not playing with them. Straight up. Hosea 4:6 says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. People don't want to see. Everybody want to walk around blind, act like ain't nothing going on in the world. Everybody caught up in he say, she say, and entertainment. That's why I'm going to tell you right now, there's so much going on in the world. You can't even listen. It's to the point where if you conscious, if you can see, you notice that there's a split between those who can see and those who can't. It's like half of us is trying to make the world aware. The other half, they got their head in their own ass. They worried about gossip. They worried about miniature nonsense. When those who are conscious, we actually have the information. We can see what's going on day to day. They caught up in themselves. They're caught up in denial. They caught up in foolishness. And that's why a lot of them going to get caught off guard when all of this hit the fan.
If we impeach him, where do you think he's going to go? Anybody thinking about this? It's not a ballroom. It's a bunker. Why? So now we know why that ballroom.
I don't think Trump is worried about getting impeached. And I think they're going to try to give him a third term. They didn't already gave him way too much power. I believe they're in agreement with Trump. And when I say they, I mean all of the world powers, predominantly all the world powers. He's just the scapegoat. What show was it on when he said they always blame me? Was he on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air back in the 90s? Y'all remember when Trump was like, hey, they always blame me. That was scripted. He's the scapegoat. He's the face of what the world powers, the satanic world elite want to do. Trump is just the face of it.
I have a jar right here. This is the current drinking water in Morgan County, Georgia. Right after a data center was constructed, the metadata center was constructed, the only difference between the clean water and this was that data center. I have another one as well. So this wasn't just one well. These wasn't just one family's situation. This is what the drinking water now looks like next to that data center. And I think both of us can agree that neither one of these things are drinkable. These families now have to ship, in a rural area, have to ship water to their house in order to cook and bathe themselves. Now, I'm curious if the EPA plans any investigations on how data centers are affecting water quality and availability. I understand what you said about the rule, but are there going to be any open investigations on this issue?
So as soon as I get back to the office, I will be looking into exactly what you've just talked about, because anywhere, whatever type of construction it is a priority to ensure that water quality standards established by EPA are being met. And so we'll be looking into that certainly.
Thank you. I sincerely appreciate that because I think this is of utmost importance, and we're seeing this happening across the country. I'd also like to ask about the administration's push to build more data centers by fast-tracking construction. Because the administration's been issuing executive orders to fast-track data center construction when we know that water quality is encountering major issues. Are there any mandates for data centers to do water quality testing prior to construction?
Of like coming from a public water supply, drinking water supply sampling?
Wells, yeah.
I'm not aware of anything like that. However, it doesn't mean I'm just not aware of it. It might exist,
Yes,
but I'm not.
Of course. I think it's important that, you as an agency official, we have to make sure we're doing these investigations. And then us, on a congressional level, I'd like to note that I think it's of utmost importance that we also launch congressional investigations into this matter as well, so that we can partner with the EPA and ensure that
They're not going to do that because they're allowing all of this. It's not going to be no congressional hearings or any of that. It's going to take the people actually rebelling and pushing back.
the drinking water for this country continues to be safe and accessible for the American people. So thank you, Administrator.
Imagine that. The drinking water in America is about to be absolutely contaminated. A great deal of it too. And I believe also this is to try to target people who are digging their own wells, right? You know, we are at war with these folks. And I'm going to show y'all what the AI is, how sophisticated this AI has gotten, right?
I just wanted to jump on here really quickly, and because I went to court today, and this is a pretty serious issue because I went to court today. I won my case though. It was thrown out, it was dismissed, but the fact that someone was able to submit a fake, altered AI video of me and submit it as evidence in a court of law and a judge not be able to see or determine that it was AI is absolutely insane. I was looking at the video. The video was an actual recording of a chain of events. However, that is not how the night went. I appeared, my eyes look so different in the video, and I'm sitting in the courthouse like, something is off with this video. It's not me. It looks like me, but I'm not drunk. I don't drink. I'm not high. I've never smoked. I've never done drugs in my life. But yet in the video, I appear drunk, super inebriated. It looks as though I was sitting there devil's second guessing myself. Like, wait a minute, is this how you actually, is this what Ring camera recordings look like? This person submitted Ring camera footage of me, and that's how I appeared, drunk and high and slurring over my words a bit. And my best friend even said, after we finished the hearing, why did you look like that? Something was wrong with that video. That's not you. And in court, the judge even said, you know, you've been drinking or smoking. If you were smoking or whatever, it's legal. You're grown. But that's the scary part, that's the scary part. We don't have any legislation. How do people know? How would a judge, how can a judge tell? There needs to be legislation that AI is stamped, AI is documented, There is no way on God's green earth that someone was able to go and alter a video of me and submit it and pass it off as accurate and sound. Again, thank God the case was dismissed, but that can happen to anyone. My case wasn't even, I mean, it was serious enough, but it can happen to anybody.
Now, this is crazy, y'all, because think about this. When AI first dropped, yeah, it has its conveniences, right? You know, you're able to help your children with the homework. It has a better filtering system as far as research goes. You know, it pretty much got rid of Google. Like nobody's looking anything up on Google. People are using Sora, Grok, or ChatGPT. But here's where's the double-edged sword here. Now, people are being framed for crimes that they did not commit. Do you understand how problematic this is? People are going to court. People are using quote unquote ring cam footage, filming people doing crimes they're not doing, and they're sending people to court. There's also Uber drivers who have taken pictures of their back seats, claiming that damages was left in their vehicles, turning in pictures that were AI doctored. I'm talking about showing their backseat totally trashed so they can get money from Uber or Lyft. Like there's a lot of illegal things going on because why? You cannot tell real from fake. And then to add insult to injury, they're contaminating the water. They're contaminating the water supply. So this is what the beast technology is doing. And this is just the beginning. This is just the tip of the iceberg with this stuff. I'm telling you. And that's why in Ephesians 5:15, it says, see that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are evil. You got to be wise. You got to be wise where you put your face, where you put your image nowadays. If you are not a content creator, I would be very careful with your likeness, even when you're a content creator, because they can doctor and alter some things, have you doing something you ain't do, saying something you ain't say, and this will actually help them do smear campaigns against God's people even more. What's that one movie, y'all? No, it wasn't a movie, it was a TV show. Man, it was a TV show where it was like a news journalist, and they framed him for a murder he didn't do. And they were watching him, they were learning his ins and outs. They was using AI. Like this is the type of stuff that the serpent is trying to do now, literally frame people. Some of these gang stalking neighbors will use AI to be framing targeted individuals. This is the time that we're in.
While everyone's been distracted with the latest bread and circus, Flock AI has quietly been building the digital prison that can track, trace you, and partners with 5,000 police departments across the country to send that information directly to them. And they can send drones to you. Guys, this is just over the past 2 years alone. That's how many they've built. This is what the Flock cameras really are. Check this out.
This plate is being scanned, logged, and tracked by AI cameras across the country. This is already happening. Companies like Flock Safety have deployed tens of thousands of AI-powered license plate readers in cities and towns all over America. These cameras automatically scan your license plate, record the time and location, and use AI to log your movements, often storing the data for weeks or months at a time. While some states are trying to add restrictions and require warrants, many places still allow this with little oversight. That trip to the doctor, the late-night drive home, taking your kids to school, all of it can be tracked and stored without you ever knowing.
It's almost like the new mandate in cars for 2027 with an AI surveillance, and the data centers and Flock AI are a part of some bigger scheme. I'm going to show you what that's about in the next video. Stay tuned. While everyone's been distracted with the latest bread and circus, Flock AI has quietly been...
Flock AI has went through a massive expansion. you know, and I'm sure ICE has access to this particular AI as well. No, I'm not talking about a movie called Mercy. It's actually a television show that I'm talking about. And it's like a news correspondent, and they framed him for a murder he didn't commit. And I can't remember the name of the show right now, but it's on Netflix. It's on Netflix. Yep. But, you know, this stuff is real, man. They're keeping close eye on United States citizens. The surveillance state is here. It is here.
A Coweta County woman says that Georgia Power is now trying to take her home to support a massive data center project in Fayette County.
11 Alive's Chase Howell spoke with the homeowner. She says the power company is using eminent domain to unfairly force her out.
Ansley Brown says her mom bought this property in 2003 and doesn't think it's fair that the government or a utility company can come in and say, hey, we need this property for public benefit and we have the legal power to take it.
This is a real David and Goliath story, in my opinion. We're going against a $2 billion power company for our home.
That's Ansley Brown. She says Georgia Power is wanting to demolish her childhood home in Coweta County to make way for power lines that will replace the old ones and support a data center in another county.
Truthfully, I feel like this is physically aging my mother and how much stress that this has put on her. For that, me personally, I will go to war.
And for the last year, Brown has been fighting the good fight.
Hey, you guys, it's Ansley from Coweta County, Georgia.
She's been in talks with lawmakers like Senator Greg Dolezal and has gone head to head with Georgia Power over its use of eminent domain and compensation.
They are using all of these different tactics to try to diminish the value of this home so that way they don't have to pay us fair market value.
In a statement from Georgia Power, the power company claims only 1% of its land transactions fall under eminent domain, and that oftentimes it offers property owners above market price for their land. And according to Georgia Power, it's in final negotiations with Brown's mom.
They are only saying that they're in final negotiations with us because they are threatening us with condemnation. They are telling us if we do not settle soon, they are going to take us to court and have a jury decide who gets this house and how it plays out.
Georgia Power says this is just one of about 20 to 30 other properties that will be demolished for this project. In Noonan, Chase Howell, 11 Alive.
So as you can see, people are really going through it here in Georgia too, man. You know, being displaced, removed from their home, having to go through litigation just to see if they can live where you know they grew up in a home. These are family homes right here. I'm going to read this scripture, Ecclesiasticus, or it's actually Ecclesiastes 7:7. It says, "Lo, the only have I found that God have made man upright, but they have sought out many inventions." See? Yep. Mankind is on a self-deletion mission. You know, this is why the Most High have to interrupt this stuff. And we got to keep our heads on a swivel and stay locked in. Because they on it. And it's really, a lot of this is because we let these animals get away with these files. I'm telling you, they put their foot on the gas. Once they released them Epstein files, that's when this all really started. When they started playing with the public and nobody was really pushing back, that's when they was like, okay, these people gonna let us get away with anything. They practically feel invincible at this point.
Epstein somehow won Powerball in the state of Oklahoma and collected almost $30 million. How'd that happen? Wasn't from Oklahoma. No one's ever explained how he won. The feds looked into it. No explanation. He just somehow collected almost $30 million from Powerball. Okay, now, so what's the lesson there? The lesson, and the reason it's funny, is because the system is rigged. And everyone knows it's rigged. And at some point it was rigged apparently against Epstein. How do we know that? Well, because on July 6th, 2019, he was arrested at Teterboro Private Airport outside New York City on a flight from Paris. And he was charged with basically the same crimes he'd been charged with back in 2006 by the state of Florida. Now, you would think that that would be not allowed, double jeopardy, well, the feds made the case, but he had a federal non-prosecution agreement. It's not a defense of Jeffrey Epstein. It's merely noting the obvious, which is what the Justice Department did to Jeffrey Epstein in 2019 was very weird. And no one has ever explained why they did that. But what we do know is that a month and 3 days after he was arrested at Teterboro Airport, he was dead and he was murdered. And it was never investigated.
How many of y'all knew that Jeffrey Epstein won the Powerball for $30 million? It's like they were money laundering. What this shows is there's a lot of connected people with this Epstein stuff, y'all. They were all in collusion, all of them. We talking about high ups, Kissinger, David Rockefeller, these type of names. He was tied in with all BlackRock, Walt Disney, you name it. Imagine a government money laundering scheme, and they ran the play right in front of us. We talking about these are child traffickers running a major play in the general public. What type of wicked, sadistic stuff is this? We talking about a man who was already a millionaire that he won Powerball. I just found that out. Believe it was back in the early 2000s. Isaiah 24:5. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the law, changed the ordinances, broken the everlasting covenant. Ooh, that's a word right there. That's a word right there. And it's because they have transgressed the law. It changed all the ordinances. And that word ordinance is very interesting because it's going into various systems. And it's really this scripture is highlighting spiritual systems, spiritual networks. It's highlighting operating systems and dynamics of the unseen. That's what it's talking about. It's talking about natural order being disrupted. And that's what happened. Natural order has been disrupted. The frequency has changed.
Epstein says in the first 1 minute, he goes, Henry Kissinger and David Rockefeller, two of the biggest scum that ever lived, appointed him at age 30 to the Trilateral Commission.
Right, just a kid from Brooklyn.
He's not. The Epstein family, as we learned from the files, they've served the Rothschilds for generations. So the bottom line is,
Epstein was on the Trilateral Commission. I remember back in the day, you could not mention the Trilateral Commission on social media. You know, the Trilateral Commission, the triangle. You couldn't even mention that. And people still to this day don't know what that is. The Trilateral Commission, that's why Jay-Z is throwing up the rock and all that. The Trilateral Commission is over Congress. This is over the government. This is over all of, listen, this group. The Trilateral Commission is the group that sits with Satan. That's the highest order. That's the highest order. These people are literally communicating with the devil, bro. And this is who they don't want us to be talking about, but we're going to do it anyway. I mean, what do we got to lose at this point? What do we got to lose the way they're doing us? You know, we're going to expose what's in the dark. Let's go.
I think Epstein is the mouth of Sauron for the Rothschilds. That's why at age 30, you would put him in the Trilateral Commission. So he's above Israel, because Rothschilds are above Israel because they created it. Epstein says in the first 1 minute, he goes, Henry Kissinger and David Rockefeller, two of the biggest scum.
Yeah, y'all gotta understand how connected Epstein really was. Just to show you that what we're dealing with is the Epstein class. We're talking about political giants. We're talking about financial giants, bankers, those who run major operating systems in darkness. Epstein was up there.
They canceled it! Say what? They canceled it!
So Citizens of Jersey, they got rid of a major data center. So it can be done. It can be done. I was following this whole protest these people were on. Hey, they rallied. They gathered together. They got all of the petitions they got the petition put in. They got the signatures. They took to the streets. You want to know what's got to happen now? People going to have to start making something shake. They're going to have to start making something shake, y'all, because the data centers, you can stop them from happening. Obviously, there's been a few small victories in different states. So you're going to see a trend with people really stepping up, pushing back against this.
The proximity of the houses to this noise. And as of right now, I don't see the black smoke. But often, there are multiple black particles blowing in the air along with this sound. Why is this allowed right next to single-family homes, right next to other townhomes, and other townhomes here?
That sound is coming from a data center in Sterling, Virginia. A Harford County resident sent me this video after traveling there to see what residents are going through with these data centers right by their homes. Now, here in Harford County, many people are getting worried about the proposed data center supposed to go on Mountain Branch Golf Course in Joppa. Of course, with the zoning codes right now in Harford County, that won't happen. Hopefully not. And the county council has to accept the moratorium that is going to come out. This is not about anti-business. This is not about anti-tech. This is about nobody should be living by a building that is making humming noises constantly around the clock and causing black fumes to go through the air right by a residential house. On May 19th, the Harford County Council is voting on a moratorium. They want to hear from residents and everything. We have to say no to anything.
The proximity of the houses.
Yeah, could you imagine living in that environment, hearing that screeching, creepy, demonic noise? Do you understand how much dark matter is being secreted in the atmosphere? I mean, that is crazy to have to deal with that. As if they can't push these data centers somewhere deep off in the woods somewhere. Man, 1 Thessalonians 5:2 says, For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them. Now watch this. But ye brethren are not in darkness, that the day should overtake you as a thief. No, this judgment, Christ is coming like a thief to take who? These individuals who promote this wickedness, these individuals who put these demonic systems in place. It says, but ye brethren are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. You are children of the light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of the darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. Let us not sleep as they do others. Why do we pay attention to what's going on in the world? Why are we talking about the data centers? Why are we talking about these reptilians? Why are we talking about the bankers? Why are we talking about all this? Hey, are you fear mongering? What are you talking about? No, we're doing exactly what the scriptures say. We're not asleep. We are awake. And if nobody talks about it, the more people stay asleep. This is why hell has enlarged itself. Everybody wants to ignore the truth. It ain't normal for them to be putting centers up in communities that's poisoning the water, having people misplaced. It ain't normal that all of Cuba is going through genocide and that all of the people in the hospitals and the emergency rooms are dying. It ain't normal that these people got to go without power. It ain't normal that sovereign countries have been invaded when they were no existential threat to America. That's not normal. It's not normal that we're paying damn near $8 a gallon in gas while the billionaires are building ballrooms with 8 floors in them, with bunkers and hospitals. None of that is normal. Off of our taxpayer dollars, and nobody want to say nothing about it. We think the quieter we are, the less damage these Satanists are going to do. Like, what do people think? The less we talk about it, it's going to just disappear? No. But Christ is protecting his own people. But the reason why we cry aloud and we spare not is for those who are sleeping to wake up. That's why I implore you all to share my material, share it everywhere, even if you know people don't want to hear this truth. If you know people don't want to hear it, those are the people you need to share it to. Why? Because if we don't put the truth out there, the blood is on our hands. If we don't let people know what's going on in the world, then we will be held accountable. Because a lot of people are walking around lackadaisical and they are asleep. The Bible says, let's not sleep like they do.
Kids close to these data centers are starting to have heartburn. Elderly folks are having higher rates of early onset dementia. Chickens lay 50% less eggs. We are seeing calves, cows, goats, and sheep and pigs lose 30% of their body weight. Kids close to these data centers are starting to have heartburn. Elderly
Children are having heartburns near these data centers.
folks are having higher rates of early onset dementia.
The elders are getting dementia. The chickens are hatching less eggs, and the cows are losing their body fat. They're losing their body weight. That's what's happening because of these data centers. Now, what do we do? Let these people keep doing this, and then 5 years from now, it's looking like food deserts and food banks in majority of rural areas where agriculture is supposed to be being produced. Hold on, I'm gonna get that scripture right there. Isaiah 26:10. Let favor be shewed to the wicked. You will not learn righteousness in the land of uprightness. I don't think this is worded correctly. Let favor be. I don't know. I'm having a hard time reading that one. I don't know if that's King James version, but yeah, we're gonna skip over that one. But I believe it's supposed to say, let favor not be showed unto the wicked. And then it goes, let me see. Yet will he not learn righteousness in the land. Okay, so favor is showed to him. I get it. But he will not learn righteousness. He will deal unjustly. And behold, the majesty of the Lord, meaning the Most High is going to subsequently deal with these wicked people because they were given favor, meaning they were given the responsibility of doing right by the people. All right, so I was able to decipher that one. I got a little bit twisted on the verbiage for a second, but I get what that scripture is saying. The Bible is saying that they were giving the favor, they were given the liberty, they were given a position to do right, but they choose to do wicked. They choose to do wicked.
If a data center is coming to your town, there's 3 coming to my town. This is what you need to know. These data center campuses are not run by people. They're run by computers. Centers use enough electricity to power whole cities. When you add to our already existent power grid, you raise everyone else's electricity bills. We use millions of gallons of our drinking water to cool down the computers all day. They emit air pollution because there are hundreds of diesel-fueled generators on each of these data centers. The biggest thing that is going to ruin people's property values is the noise pollution. People of Vineland, New Jersey have data centers and they're posting videos of the sound that they're emitting. It's deafening and it's 24/7. One pro, the one positive to data centers. Tax revenue. That's it. Use our land, they use our water, and they use our power. They steal our health, and they destroy our property values. But we're supposed to believe that the tax revenue is worth it. And have you ever seen county tax revenue trickle down to the people?
No.
You might be asking yourself the same question that I ask myself and that my entire town asks themselves. Why would our city council vote for this? Because the people that we elected had to vote to pass this. I'm not going to speculate, but what's the number one thing that comes to your head? If a data center is coming to your town, there's 3.
Yeah, they listen. Them tax dollars is not trickling down to the people. There's rich people who stand a lot to gain. A lot of politicians are getting bribed or blackmailed as well to let these data centers go up. You know how business is done in America. You know how business is done in America. Hey, It's all built on corruption. They'll go to a mayor or a governor. You know, they got a honeypot on him. You know, they got him somewhere on video with a damn dress on somewhere. And they like, look, if you don't sign up on this document right here, sign on this dotted line, we're going to release this to the public. And we're going to get you out of the office anyway. You know, elections is coming up. I don't care if you a homegrown Texan and you care about the people. Look, them people getting shook down, or they just getting hit with a paycheck. Look, we're going to there's going to be some tax money trickling down. We're going to make sure you get a little bonus. And you put this data center up. You know, we got this fallen angel technology. It got to be done, you know. Right. Isaiah 8:12. Ghost Dog is coming with it. Do not call conspiracy everything this people calls a conspiracy. Do not fear what they fear and do not dread it. That's right. Let them call everything conspiracy theorists. While we're going to be aware of what's going on. While we're going to be watchful and mindful.
The largest data center in the world is planned to be built in Ohio. It'll cost up to, $40 billion to construct, and it'll be 3,700 acre center that will require 10 gigawatts or 1/3 of Ohio's entire power grid capacity to run. 1/3 of an entire state's power capacity?
This needs to be stopped somehow, because a 3,700 acre data center sounds like it'll consume the entire state's water supply. Ohio is about to be looking like Saudi Arabia.
The largest data.
Yep. And look, Ohio is already. Ohio already has an interesting vibe to it. I'm going to put it that way. You know, may my mother rest in peace. She was in Ohio. And it's just something about that place that I don't know, it has a bad energy. Let's just put it that way. Respectfully. I know it's people, y'all be taking everything so serious. Like, just because you live in Ohio, you don't get offended at me. Look, stop trying to, you don't own nothing here. Stop trying to defend and vouch for these states. You just live there. You know, if somebody come to Georgia and say the same thing, I'm not going to be offended. I don't care. I don't own it. But Ohio does have a dark presence. Put it this way. I see why Bone Thugs and Harmony rap the way they rap. And shout out to Bone Thugs. I rock with Crazy Bone. But I'm just saying, I see why the music was so eerie where they came from, right? It just has it has an interesting type of energy, you know? And now you want to couple that with with one of the biggest data centers. You know, it's just it is what it is. There's some places you just rather not go. Let's just keep it 1,000. You know, if I can help it, if I can help it, I don't want to go to Jersey. If I can help it, I don't want to go to New York. If I can help it, maybe some parts of LA, but I don't really want to go there either. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather go to the Carolinas, or I don't know. I'd rather go somewhere like Oklahoma. I like Oklahoma. Tulsa. I've been to Tulsa. I like Oklahoma and places like that, low-key places. You know? Just certain places, you know, we all don't align with it. We all don't align with the vibe, the energy. But now they want to go put the biggest data center there. That's crazy. It's like they trying to turn Ohio to hell on earth. Somebody said, "Oh, you missing the Jersey Shore." See, I've never been there. I've only rode through Jersey, and I'm the type of person, I can ride through a place and I could tell if I like it or not. I could just feel the energy. I'm like, let me hurry up and get up out of here. Respectfully. I too. Golden Sea says I like the South better. Me too. I'm gonna have to agree. I enjoy the South better. I like Florida. Florida's a decent place to go. Even some parts of Texas are decent. I'm just not really, and I grew up in DC. I like places like West Virginia. You know, peaceful places all through the mountains and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's just a personal thing, right? So I hopefully nobody got offended by that. They be like, Breed, y'all hit me with the inbox. Breed, I hear you talking mess about Ohio. You're not welcome here. Hey, listen, don't take my Ohio pass.
The report shows that the Trump administration has arrested the parents of at least 27,000 children. So I started digging because I wanted to find out where the children are being kept. But the data directly from ICE only lists 2,600 children currently in ICE detention centers and 3,600 children who have already been deported. That's only 6,200 children in total. So if ICE has arrested the parents of 27,000 children, but is only reporting 6,200 children have been in their custody, where are the remaining 20,800 children? I've been trying to rack my brain for any logical explanation.
But they build them bunkers under the White House on our tax dollars. But ICE allegedly has all these missing children. You arrested the parents. Where are the children at?
That would explain where these children are, but I must be missing something because based on their own data, over 20,000 children are just missing. At first, I was thinking maybe their data wasn't updated and that the updated data would account for all the children, but their data claims to be updated through May 10th. Here are the sources I referenced if you can try to figure out another explanation, because honestly, I really want to be wrong about this. A new report shows that
And this world is wicked as hell, man. And I believe they still, this Epstein stuff, the type of Epstein behavior that was going on, it's still happening, probably even worse now in 2026 than it was back in 2020 when Epstein was running around. I believe it's happening even worse. And this is the reason why that Disney cruise ship, that damn Disney cruise ship was on the news all but one day. We heard about it all but one day. What's up with that? It seemed like they're still orchestrating these mass trafficking rings seem to be still going on. That's why listen, in a sense, yo, I'm gonna just shoot straight with y'all, man. I'm getting cold knowing what I know about the world, bro. And I don't mean cold like the wicked get cold, but I mean to the point where sometimes, y'all, I'm gonna just say it just like this, right? It's to the point I'm beginning to hate this world. I'm beginning to hate it, bro, because it's so evil. I know what the Most High feels about this place. They harm the innocent. It's like you're living in a world that harms children, bro, and they do it in a mass scale. And these same people control and dominate society. Ruthless, heartless, wretched, sick people who harm and hurt children rule the world, bro. And we got to sit here and suffer and struggle and go through ups and downs. And then meanwhile, they do all of this, and our families, our situations, our relationships are all divided. And it's because of the programming that they put on the people, the witchcraft and sorcery, the feminism that they pushed. They're responsible for all that. And it makes you hate these people. It makes you hate them, bro. They're the reason why a lot of our young ladies are walking around acting like they ish don't stink and being disrespectful and not really respecting men and all of that kind of stuff. Listen, this is the reason why they did it through feminism. This is the reason why it's so much pain, hunger, starvation going on in the planet. This is the reason why so many wars. This is the reason why the men are all depleted, choosing whoredom and whoremongering rather than family. And it's like we're all guilty to some extent of participating in the fall of society. We're all guilty to some extent, but look at how we were raised. Imagine just being placed in an environment that you're not supposed to be in. And now you got the residue. These entities are so evil. Just being in this physical plane, you got residue on you. And you just mad that the residue even touched you. You wondering why you got to break generational curses and fight demons and fight temptation and go through all this spiritual warfare. And it's because you got the residue of these evil beasts on you. And then once you realize that all your battles, all of the scars, everything that you fight is because of these demonic evil beings that hate, just hate the Most High and went to war with the Most High, you're going to hate them. You're going to pray for them to fall. You're going to pray that Babylon burns. You're going to pray that Babylon is destroyed. You got all of these men walking around effeminate. You got all of these men walking around. You got grown men walking around, a bunch of gossip channels, bro. I mean, don't get me starting a rant, bro. But I'm going to tell you, you got all these grown ass men that sit around with tea all damn day, talking about the next person. These effeminate, weird men out here. It's sick. I'm sick of it. If I'm just speaking direct and honest with you, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of everybody just code switching all the time. Nobody can be themselves. Nothing is genuine no more. The connections with people ain't genuine. It's a strange ass time to be alive, bro. It's weird as hell out here. It's just a strange time. Like if you real, if you genuine, if you show people love, you show people support, they're going to give you their ass to kiss. It seems like people who really love genuinely get taken advantage of the most by energy vampires. It's sickening. Once people know that you love genuinely and you care for them, they're going to show you the worst of themselves. It's like everybody's trying to get leverage over the next person. Everybody's greedy. Yeah, people don't respect elderlies. People don't respect the sickly. A lot of men are cowards. They're so cowardly these days. They'll sit on the internet, go back and forth, but none of them want to even square up in real life. Those are cowards. I don't respect nothing about a coward. I don't know, man. I'm telling you, bro. I'm tired of these people, bro. And they wonder why I keep my foot on their neck talking about what's going on in the world, because a lot of people are a product of the world and don't even recognize it. And then when you real, when you authentic, when you genuine, you looked at as weird. You don't really get no support. When you start bettering yourself in different places, you know what I'm saying? People try to shrink you and humble you. When you start to build yourself up in something positive, whether you're on your fitness journey or you just doing something positive, somebody always in the background hating, trying to humble you. Everybody's always focused on what the next person is doing. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna say something too, because we might as well chop it up, man. We're gonna chop it up. And we're gonna go to what, of course, you know how we do it. We're going to talk about what the people are saying in America, because we always pivot. After we cover the news, we go into what other people saying. But I want to take this as, before we go into that, you know, the spirit leading me to just kind of expound on something real brief. You know, brothers and sisters, listen. Y'all got to understand that there's people out there in the world that just don't have good intentions for you. And as you're maneuvering through society, you got to be mindful of that. A lot of you brothers and sisters are just decent human beings. Not saying you're perfect, but you're genuine. Everybody is not used to that level of authenticity. They don't know what to do with it. Because they have such a narrow scope on themselves, they can never see you for who you are. So they believe that they're supposed to shrink you, pigeonhole you, in order to feel comfortable and validated in themselves. There's so many people who are covetous towards you. There is so many people who are trying to leech off of you, build off of your energy, right? And they don't understand that they can't compare where they don't compete. We, chosen by the Most High, we're competing with ourselves. We're battling with ourselves. We understand what we got going on. There's others always looking for external sources. And it's like when you are man or woman of the Most High, people don't want to just get the light from you. They don't want to just learn from you. They want to possess you. They want to drain you. They want to strip you. They want to gain power off of breaking you down. They want to get pleasure off of trying to destroy you. That's the reality of the world you're living in. It's an ugly world. I know it, but it's the reality. Why? Because you got a light. You got a light, brothers and sisters. The reason why you even connect to this material is because you see. You're not supposed to see and hear. You are supposed to be mindless like them. You're supposed to be caught up in all the trends like them. You're not supposed to have your own frequency, your own vibration. Keep in mind that you are unique, brothers and sisters, and you cannot cast your pearls before swine. Everybody cannot have access to you. Everybody just can't have access to you, brothers and sisters. It's a strange time that we're living in, where people are very weird. People really be on assignment out here. So you got to keep that in mind. Now, we got to talk about what the people are saying. Now, the news, we covered the news like we always do. Now, we're going to, you know how we doing. We're going to the Hebrew Hub. We got to go to the Hebrew Hub and see what's popping right now with the people. What are the people saying about all of this? And I want everybody to get the likes up. Let's make sure the likes are over 1,000. Babylon is on the brink of collapse. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
The American empire will collapse in the next 5 to 10 years because it is overstretched, too much debt, too much corruption, too much inequality. It's in too much debt, and it is really angering the entire world. It's basically unifying the entire world against it right now. Say empires last around 200 years. And so we are now in the twilight of the American empire. And the other thing that we know is you can't actually stop the decline of empires. So Oswald Spengler, who is a German theoretician, he argues that we are human beings and we have natural life cycles because we're organisms. Well, societies are the same way, where empires, they will be born, they'll rise, and they'll die. And it's a good thing because that's what allows for constant human innovation.
Do you think that will happen in my lifetime? I'm 30 years old, 33 years old.
It may happen in everyone's lifetime. It may happen in the next 5 to 10 years. We are seeing.
Do you think that's going to happen in the next 5 or 10 years?
I think there's a very strong possibility.
And if that is to be the case, what would you give me as advice as a 33-year-old? What actions should I be thinking about taking now, based on what you know about history, to make sure that, it's not too bad for myself? I guess I'm asking this question in light of you predicting that there might be a collapse of the sort of Western or the American empire. And in such a scenario, I was wondering what it would look like to be an American. And is there a solution or a course of behavior one should take in such a scenario? But I guess that's the key question, which is, if the US empire does collapse, how does American life change or Western life change?
Okay. So one theory that's very important to understand is something called Hermetic philosophy. And Hermetic philosophy is what underpins Plato's Allegory of the Cave. Mm-hmm. And Hermetic philosophy comes from Egypt. And It has certain principles, but its main principle is that reality is energy. It's vibrations. Okay. So we think of it as material, but material is a consequence of energy. Right? So what this means is that reality is consciousness itself. So our thoughts are what's real. Our bodies are just vehicles to experience the world around us, but they're not real. When we die, our souls return to the source and we come back again.
Now, in a sense, he's correct about us coming back again, because when it says the dead in Christ shall rise first, it's talking about us rising to be back on the new earth. It's not talking about us rising to the heavens. We actually go to the bosom of Abraham when we perish, but we will rise again and rule. You understand? So when you hear the scripture say the dead in Christ shall rise, that's what it's talking about. And so he's right, man. All of this is fake. And once you understand that you're in the matrix, you look at life completely different. Once you understand that this reality is a makeshift reality, fear will leave you, especially if you know that you're one who bear light, especially if you know that you carry the right frequency. You know that you're not going to truly die. You're only going to be translated. That's it. You know what I'm saying? And it's only appointed once for a man to die, as the scriptures accurately says. We're only appointed once to die. It ain't no reincarnation, just so that I'm clear. It ain't no reincarnation. You will come back in a better version of yourself. You get one chance at this. But he kind of went on that tangent. Just to backtrack a little bit, he said that Babylon will probably fall in the next 5 to 10 years. I'd be surprised if it lasts that long. And honestly, it depends on what you mean by fall, because technically Babylon, America has already failed. It's not what it used to be. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's completely knocked out, but America's failed. Or what the Bible say, it's fallen, it's fallen. Let's go.
And we're here primarily in order to experience things we cannot experience in the spiritual world, because in the spiritual world, it's not material. Okay? So what's really important is to appreciate that every one of us is part of the source. And so if we think about the totality of things, we can only become despondent. We can only give up hope. But if we think about how individually we can become a better person.
That's what it starts with, individually becoming better. Wisdom of Solomon 17:1 says, "For great are thy judgments, and cannot be expressed. Therefore, unnurtured souls have erred." Unnurtured souls have erred. You know, the Most High's judgments really can't be expressed and quantified in words. That's why it makes such interesting dialect when we talk about how he judges, you know. But remember what Sirach said, Ecclesiasticus 39:28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance. Fire and hail and famine and death. All these were created for vengeance. So yes, in this physical plane, we are living in a metaphysical realm. It is spirits involved, but there's also spirits that's designed for judgment. God makes it clear. He's going to judge. He's going to judge this place. Hell, fire, all of that is spirits, as the Bible calls it. That's designed and designated for judgment, which shows you metaphysics. Why does it show you metaphysics? Because that's something spiritual that is physical too. Hopefully I'm not losing y'all with this. The Bible is proving kind of what he just said. What's done in spirit realm can manifest physically. So with the way he answered that question is basically saying, it depends on what people do individually, how long we got. And that's true. That's why we don't know the day or the hour. That's why we got to do the inner work ourselves. You know, got to do the inner work.
Me and my wife were both talking about the economy a few minutes ago, and it's like I told her, I don't understand how people are making it today. I don't understand how people are living in this economy, because everything is so freaking expensive that if you're not making $100,000 a year, I don't know how you're doing it. You're a hell of a lot better at managing money than I am, I can tell you that. Because she goes to the grocery store 2 or 3 times a week, every week. Mm-hmm. And spends $150 every time she goes. You cannot go to the grocery store now and get out for under $100. And you might have 10 items. Well, $100 ain't gonna buy you 10 items. But we never have anything in the house, and that's what got it started. I'm like, there's never anything to eat here. And she said, well, it's so freaking expensive.
Man, I find myself having to go to the grocery store at least 5 times a week. Now, mind you, I got some hungry kids too, and they eat. But still, it's expensive, y'all. How many times, y'all let me know, how many times y'all find yourselves going to the grocery store a week? Let me know in the chat. I'm just curious.
By the time you go by for one meal, that's it. And she's right. That's true. And it just got me thinking, how are people doing it? How are people even feeding themselves, much less feeding a family? If you're making a job with, $15, $16, $18 an hour, I don't know how you're doing it. I don't. How are you keeping yourself alive and a roof over your head? I don't get it. I don't get it. You must be a hell of a lot better at managing money than I am.
It is ridiculous how our economy is today. I work a full-time job. I have a 6-year-old kid. I'm married. You think I should be living the high life, right? Wrong. Everything's going up in price, and the expectation of us to spend money, and no wages are going up. Nothing is going up. It's just getting to the point where it's like, why aren't we angry? Why is no one doing anything? It's honest.
I got the same question. I'm ready listen, let the games begin, bro. Let the games begin. I'm ready for the American people to go straight up Game of Thrones. I'm not even going to hold y'all. I'm ready to see something happen, bro. I'm just telling you like it is. I'm ready to see people really, stop talking and just start doing. I want to see the revolution happen. Like, because these people are not going to stop. It, like the level of disrespect. They building ballrooms. They buying all private jets. They doing whatever the hell they want to do. I'm at the point where I'm waiting. I'm ready to see people make it shake, bro. I'm not trying to incite violence. I'm just saying something. I would like to see some actual leg work. Show up at some of these government buildings. Like, none of this AI, 1,000 people, Kings March, or whatever, no Kings protest. Nah, that's all AI, bro. I don't believe that. I want to see some real movement. Are we that, or as Americans as a whole, we just don't have no fight left in us? Because if it's ever a time for a revolution, it's time in 2026.
Honestly, just so frustrating to sit here and worry about how I'm gonna have my kid act like, pretend everything is fine, but it's not. It's so expensive to get my kid into anything. It's so expensive to basically have a job. My job requires me to drive my own car, and they pay me $600 a month as an allowance for my car. I'm spending about $100 in gas a week just to do my job, just to go do my job. Are they giving us raises? No cost of living adjustments. My husband and I, we would love to have a house. We would love to have a backyard. We would love to do all these things, but it's not possible at all. And that's really unfair, because thanks to the Republicans and fucking Reaganomics, everything that is wrong with America can be traced back to fucking Reagan. Look it up. The trickle-down economy is not fucking working.
Somebody said something very interesting in the chat. And it's, what is that? Pangori. She says, we've been beat down for too long, too tired to fight, ? You know, that's an interesting thought. And I believe it's true as a whole. But let me say this. You got two different kind of people out there, right? You got people who get beat down to the point where they lose all momentum. They lose their self-esteem. They lose their drive. They lose their will to survive. And then you got people out there who get tired of getting beat down. You know what I'm saying? And it's times in life you got to ask yourself, and I'm talking about everybody, you got to ask yourself, what type of person are you? Are you the type of person, once you going through something for so long, you just give in, or does it transform you into something else? Something that's a force to be reckoned with. Something that just can't be stopped easily. You got to really ask yourself that. And I mean, I think everybody should ask themselves that and really ponder on that. Really ponder on that, what type of person you are, because the way this economy going, the way this world going, it's survival of the fittest. And I don't mean physically fittest. I mean mentally fit. The mentally fittest. That's who's going to survive. Those who don't get led by emotion. Those who have a level of stoicism. Those who have a level of discipline. Those who have a level of insight. Those who really just one of them people who, like, you know what? That no matter what the devil throw at me, no matter whatever I faced, I'm one of them people who ain't gonna back down from nothing. I'm only gonna grow, and what don't break me is only gonna make me stronger. If you're one of them people, you're gonna survive these days, man. You're gonna survive, and you know, better days will come for us who really think that way. The Most High is not dealing with no people who are cowardly. Matter of fact, I want to read a scripture, and we're going to go back to what she's saying. 2nd Ezra 16 and 18. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand, and the powers shall stand in fear. The powers shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? It says, what shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine, plague, tribulation, and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. Now, when you look at that word amendment, that means correction. And that goes for our everyday life. When scourges, when harm, when heartbreak, when pain, when all these things come against you, it's for amendment. It's for correction. These scriptures are jumping off the page. It's for correction. We're being tried. We're being molded. So yes, Anna Serve says, I am resilient. I will not give up. That's right. That's the mentality. That's the mentality the Most High want us to have. Because I hear people say, well, you know, the people we just too beat down, man. Ain't nothing we can do about it. People be saying that, and that's not true. Individually is something we can do. And I know the sister wasn't trying to say that, but there are people who say that, like, oh, it ain't nothing we can do. What we gonna do about it? You know, they done beat us down so much. All we can do is go to work. Nah, you can listen, you can be the difference. You can be the difference. And the way you be the difference is you really work on yourself, tap in, lock in, put away the things that have been plaguing you, flee from lust. Flee from sin, flee from people who are toxic, flee from people who don't really have your best interests at heart, Flee from negative influences. Flee from toxicity. Flee from all those who don't serve your energy. That's how you can be the difference. That's how you can be the difference. And gravitate towards people who are like-minded. Let iron sharpen iron. Get involved in some community projects. Find a group of people that you can safely and securely stack some bread with. People that you can invest in the future with. You know, get some tangible things in your life. Do things different from everybody else. Everybody else want to get smart cars, get you a clunker that got a good engine. Read your Bible more. Fast more, pray more. Just be the difference. Train. Find side quests in life. Train your mind, your body, your soul. Learn self-defense. You know, you can be the difference. Yeah, learn gardening skills. Let's go.
The poor are getting poorer, the rich are getting richer, and people aren't angry about it. Mm-hmm. Celebrities are, buy my merch, buy my tickets to my concert. Oh my God.
I'm getting pissed about it. I'm getting so pissed off about it. The way I hit the punching bag now is like, I'm looking at like, I don't know. It's like, I just want to let my pain out on the world sometimes because they put us in these conditions. They put us in these conditions. And the anger is going to turn into fire. And now I really understand what the Most High feels in that regard. Listen, we don't understand him fully, but in the regard of the fire that's kindling, the Most High is kindling a fire. He's going to judge these people. He's going to wipe these people out for the conditions that they set for the world. And I'm angry. And I know he's angry. And the Bible talks about the righteous man, the oppressed man is angry. And we angry because we don't have the dominion and control that we're supposed to have. We're supposed to be setting legislation. We're supposed to be setting the rules and regulations. We are supposed to have everything that is promised to us. And it makes you angry. And it's getting to the point as time dwells, brothers and sisters, as y'all join this platform, y'all gonna start seeing my filter disappear. Y'all may see me yelling on some certain streams. You may start seeing me speak with that vehement exhortation and indignation, that fire. Because I'm gonna just tell you like this, I don't even care no more. And I mean, I don't care how people view me. I don't care what people think. I don't care about this world. All I care about is seeing these people get eviscerated by the Almighty. That's what I care about. I care about these people being judged. I care about being a weapon of war for the Most High. That's what I care about. I care about us being a battle axe for the Most High. A battle axe, warriors, a warrior spirit. All of the stuff that we've been through in our lives. And some of y'all viewing right now, secretly fighting battles you can't tell nobody about. Placed in conditions you wasn't designed to even survive in. But the Bible says the oppressed man is angry, but he sinneth not. I'm not talking about going out here and sinning. I'm talking about letting whatever the Most High can bless us with, whether it be your talents, your gifts, your strength, your thoughts, your ideas, you got to put it out now. You got to go all in now. You got to lock in now with every blessing, with every gift, the fire that's in your loins, the fire that's in your pit, everything that you got in you, you got to give it your all now in this life. And you got to be fearless with it because you only got one chance to get it. Life is short. And then it's over. Telling you.
No one's buying tickets. Yeah, bitch, we're struggling to buy food because certain people voted for a fucking dementia-riddled orange Cheeto fucker, and it's just so annoying. I can't deal with stupidity anymore. It's ridiculous. Like, my last paycheck was fucking $900. $900. That should be fucking illegal. I work a full-time salaried position. $900 to last me 2 weeks. It was gone in like 4 days. I am broke.
I think in one city, I think they raised the minimum wage up to like $19. I can't remember what state it is, but even, you know, man, that's a shame because 5-10 years ago, $900, you if you was getting that every 2 weeks, now, I mean, about 10 years ago, about 20 years ago, you could survive off that. About 20 years ago, if you was getting 900 every 2 weeks, you could survive. That's how bad it is now. You ain't going nowhere. You done in a few days with 900.
Until next week. How the fuck am I going to feed my kid? How the fuck am I going to pay bills? Bills don't fucking care. How the fuck am I supposed to do it? Am I supposed to just start selling feet pics? Should I start talking to, you're like bullying fucking old men for money? Like, it's ridiculous.
That's why, listen, ladies, if you got a man that's providing for you, you got to be grateful for that man. You know, don't take it for granted when a man is bringing home them groceries. Don't take it for granted when a man is paying them bills. Although in this day and age, you may have to help out, get a job. But if that man is paying them bills, man, you need to appreciate that man. You got to appreciate that. Yeah, Shorty is going in though. She talking about do she got to sell feet pics? Yeah, feet pics is wild, man. And then she talking about Donald Trump, orange Cheeto, man. Shorty got like snapping right now. But I get it though. It's rough out here. But you know, that's why I oblige the ladies get with a man that's you know, hardworking and a provider. A provider. And with clothes, food, shelter, and raiment, therewith be content. If that man making sure you got a roof over your head, you got clothes on your back, you got food you got food to cook, food to eat, then that man is doing his job. He's doing his job. He's providing for you and the children. Man, listen, don't give that man no hard time in 2026. Don't give no man like that a hard time in 2026, or you'll be like her, respectfully, trying to figure out if you can get some feet pics off because the jobs ain't hiring. Being a single woman out here nowadays is rough. It just is what it is. It's rough out here. Let's go.
Where, like, how people are getting rich off doing stupid shit, and here I am being an honest fucking person, trying to do the right thing, be moral, and I get fucking fucked in the ass with no lube. Like, what?
She doing too much, man. You doing too much, shorty.
The actual fuck? What the fuck? People need to get more angry.
I do agree people need to be angry, but you need to watch your damn tone. Let's go, man.
I've honestly just come to the realization that no matter how much I accomplish in life, I'm always deep down just going to feel like a failure. And it sucks because a lot of the things that I have currently are things that I would have wanted in the past. And these things I thought would probably make my life significantly better. But I realized that it's all to fill a void, you know? And I don't know what exactly is causing this void, but none of these things are going to fill it. You know, I feel like it's something internally, something spiritually that I need to solve. And if I don't solve it, no accomplishment is going to make me feel better about myself. I feel like even if I were to come across a whole bunch of money right now, I still would not feel fulfilled. Maybe after I buy a couple of expensive things, I'll feel happy that I have money and I can buy those things. But internally, it's not going to change. It's not going to change. You know, I just feel like everything is a distraction.
I'm glad he said this, because when we're having these conversations, more often than not, people think that getting more money is the solution. No, no, no. A lot of the times, what we lack spiritually is what needs to be fulfilled. Remember, the scripture says, keep your mind on the heavens and all things shall be added unto you. If you keep your mind on the heavens, if you keep your mind on spiritual matters, all things will be added onto you. Meaning, when you're walking in your purpose, when you're in alignment with what it is you were designated to do on this planet, everything that you need, you will be fulfilled of that. And there's a void. There's a void that a lot of Americans don't know how to fulfill. And it really comes from tapping in with the word.
Keeping us from who we are supposed to be. And that's why rich people are depressed. That's why millionaires, billionaires are depressed, and they're doing crazy stuff to fulfill something, because this is not what we are meant to do. This is not how we were meant to live. And if I don't figure out what it is that I need to fulfill, then I'm always going to just be depressed.
I mean, I feel him on that. You got to do what you got to do.
All right, guys. So I'm feeling compelled.
Hold on.
We can't keep doing this. Last night I went to the grocery store. 2 bags of groceries, $72. This morning I stopped and filled up my tank. $60. I just put gas in it 2 days ago. I do drive a little bit to work, but no matter what you do, you got nothing. No matter how hard you work, no matter how early you go in, no matter how much you make, you got nothing. At the end of the week, you got nothing. Can't afford a house. Can't afford food. Can't afford utilities. Every time you go to the store, a bag of chips is like $6 or $7. A loaf of bread, $5. Gallon of milk, $5. The only thing that's fucking cheap is a dozen eggs. I've been thinking about living off eggs. Have an egg for breakfast, have a hard-boiled egg for lunch, and have a fucking omelet with no cheese for dinner.
I mean, yep. I mean, he's right, but he's playing the sad music and all that. But guess what? At this point in time, as men, we got to be solution-based. And by the way, eggs, if you eating just eggs, man, you're gonna get in good shape. You're gonna get in good shape if you live off eggs, boy. You're gonna get ripped up, muscular, lean, all that. Just eat eggs. I mean, that's a perfect protein source. But anyway, nonetheless, man, you know, we just gotta ask ourselves, how are we gonna adapt? How are we gonna adapt in this time? What are we gonna do? Are we gonna start supporting our interest? Are we going to start building communities? Are we going to start putting our money where our mouths are at instead of talking about how bad everything is? At what point are we going to start putting our money together and doing something? That's all I'm saying. I think it's about that time where we start making something shake. And it don't have to be with me or whatever I got going on. It can be with your family, your friends. Put a plan in motion, people that you trust. If you ain't got nobody you trust, start networking right here in this chat. We are all like-minded here. Yes. Alonda Norman says, Nubreed, I'm sorry for your loss. You're strong. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I want to just say a few words for my mother, and as well as, just kind of tell y'all, express to y'all what type of person she was and what she meant to me. And, just kind of help y'all understand how precious life is. All right. Now, of course, y'all seen that I've done a community post. Shout out to all the family on Instagram and YouTube. Shout out to all the people who reached out. People who, really show some concern and show love. I appreciate y'all a great deal. Now, a little bit about my mom. As you can see, she was a beautiful woman. My mom was a great singer. I mean, y'all want to know where I get my music from? It came from my mother. When I was growing up in my house, in the household, every single night, it was her singing. She would just straight up a cappella. She sung like Whitney Houston. Like, think of a strong vocalist. And, my mom went to school with Martin Lawrence. She knew Martin Lawrence. She's right there in the yearbook with him. She met Timbaland. She was going to sign a record. My mom was actually going to sign a record deal back in the day. That's how good she was. That deal didn't fall through, but music, it runs in my family. We got a lot of musicians in my family. Unfortunately, I can't sing, but I can rap and I can write music. Very good at that. My dad, he played the congos, so music is in the family. My dad, he was a boxer and he played congos for go-go bands. So that rhythm and harmony comes from my parents. I got the harmony from my dad, far as being in pocket, being on a beat. And my mom had a strong a strong voice. And, unfortunately, my mom battled with diabetes for a long time. She was born with diabetes. She didn't get type 2 diabetes. She had type 1, like born with it, always had to, have insulin. Unfortunately, my mom's, her health was always an issue as long as I can remember. So this is something that, for a very long time, I've been preparing myself for, because I had a lot of scares. There were times where when I was 7 years old and we lived in the hood, so we didn't have like a phone, like a landline phone. So my mom would have these seizures in the middle of the night, and I would wake up and find my mom shaking on the floor, and I would have to run across the street to the neighbor's house in the middle of the night at 6, 7 years old, call the ambulance. And for a great time of my life, I would see my mom back and forth in the hospital. And because she just lived her life. She still, she pretty much ate what she wanted to eat, although she shouldn't have done that. And we used to get into it about that. And my mom was very instrumental in me becoming a very independent man. My mom she wasn't one of them moms that was going to definitely be doing anything for no grown man, bro. She wasn't going to be doing that. You know, by the time she made sure that I knew that once I hit a certain age, once I hit 18, hey, boy, matter of fact, you 17 right now, be prepared to do something. Be prepared to go to Job Corps. Be prepared to, you know, you ain't, hey, listen, you ain't got to go home, but you got to get out of here. You know what I'm saying? You know, tough. I would call that tough love. You know what I mean? And plus, besides that, I was a very troubled teen. You know, me and my mom didn't always get along, and I was not an easy son to raise. I grew up very much in and out of trouble. I was outside. I was hanging with the older kids. I hung with a lot of grown men, a lot of grown women. And I was just out there, boys, smoking weed, running the streets, playing with guns, chasing women, everything. You know, at 14, 15, I was outside. And so, you know, it was just how I grew up. And nonetheless, you know, my mom's, what her life taught me, as well as her passing, is that life is short. And like I said before, you know, I got a lot of time to prepare. For the last year or so, my mom was going through things. She was having heart attacks, she was having strokes, and she was just hanging on. And a part of me is very much relieved that she gets to be home now, and it's no more suffering. And my mom gets to rest. My dad died some years ago. You know, he died at 48 years old. He actually died because, believe it or not, my dad, he had a drug problem, but he didn't die from drugs. He actually died from cigarettes. And I want you to understand, my dad, he was still, he was functioning. He was what you would call a functioning addict. He still did everything. He still boxed. He still had friends. He still did everything, but he had a habit. However, believe it or not, after all the things he did, the cigarettes, his lungs gave out. And he died at 48 years old. And I remember that day very clearly, because when he passed, the Redskins had won. I can't remember the exact year, but I remember the Redskins had won that night. And he was a big Redskin fan. But the thing is, he hated that they kept losing, so he became a Dallas fan. Like, you know, he loved the home team low key, but he got tired of them losing, so he jumped ship. But that night they won. They beat Dallas. And make a long story short, I'm not going to be long-winded with y'all, but you know, my moms and my dad, they resting in peace now. And you know, I know that some of y'all viewing this live stream, y'all know what it's like to grieve. You know, it comes in spurts. One moment you feel like you can push through and you good. Next minute you feel like you breaking down. It just happens like that. So, you know, I understand how that feels. And some of y'all parents have been gone for years, and I've been told that it doesn't really go away. But nonetheless, you know, I just would ask that y'all send prayers out to my grandmother, because my grandmother was very instrumental in raising me as well. I mean, very instrumental. A great deal of my life I spent with my grandmother, and she is 80 plus years old, and she had to lose a child at this age. You know, she had to lose a child at 80 plus, and that's very tough on her. So, you know, I ask y'all to just have her lifted up in prayer as well, because, you know, this is not an easy thing to deal with. Mika Love, thank you for the support. She says, we appreciate you, Nubreed, and thanks to your mom for you. Even in your time of grievance, you're here for us, spreading your wisdom, knowledge. Thank you, King. Peace and blessings to you. Absolutely. And I know that that's what my mom would have wanted me to do. She wouldn't have wanted me to sit around just not working and bed rotting. And, you know, as men or women, sometimes the best remedy is just to keep moving, keep active, keep busy. And not that you're trying to hide from the pain, not that you're trying to hide from the emotions, but it's just because you got to be present for the people who love you, you know, understanding that they are in a better place. You can't just shut down, you know, and it makes you grow closer to your children. It makes you grow closer to your loved ones. It makes you grow closer to those around you. You know, I had a lot of family reach out that I haven't talked to in a while, and I'm so appreciative of it. You know, just calling in, checking up on me. Man, when I tell y'all showed an outpour of love to me, man, I'm telling you, y'all sent me so many messages, and they were all heartwarming. I mean, I got thousands of inboxes on Instagram, at least 1,000. It's hundreds of inboxes. It's hundreds. You know, on IG, it's nearly 10,000 of y'all who, it's like what, 2,000 people who then commented. It's like thousands of y'all that then checked up, and that really lifted me up in the spirit, because I realized, man, y'all actually got real, genuine love, and it makes me feel like that I have a responsibility to be here for y'all, especially with everything that's going on in the world. And so, you know, I am truly appreciative. And yeah, it's just time to continue being productive and remaining strong through all of it. And, you know, we're going to continue growing. We're going to continue building. And my purpose is still, it has to go, has to continue to go on. Let me see. Somebody says, yes. And if y'all want to, feel free to support my work. If you want to support the Cash App, that would be appreciated, because I got some traveling to do. Of course, y'all know when somebody passes away in the family, there's certain arrangements that got to be made. There's certain expenses that got to be taken care of. And I'm not here to beg y'all for anything or nothing like that. I mean, just y'all's prayers, y'all's help, y'all support in that way helped me a great deal. However, you know that it takes a little bit of capital to get things done. And, you know, and any bit helps. Any bit helps. So if you would like, brothers and sisters, anything you can do to help out in this situation, because of course we're trying to set up, arrange everything, her going away and everything like that. And, you know, believe it or not, brothers and sisters, I ain't rich, and I don't really have much family left. Well, I don't have like a big Fresh Prince of Bel-Air family, and we rich and we can just, it's not like that. We very much dealing with the same things that all of you all are dealing with. And, you know, when somebody leaves this world, even though we've prepared to a degree, there's still some things that we need. So that will be appreciated. Yeah, that's the Cash App link right there. And also the Cash App is listed Nubreed Global Truth. So any little bit helps. Like I said, I got to do some traveling, to arrange a gathering with the family. And y'all know all that comes with it, man. I don't really need to go too far into that, right? I don't need to go too far into that. But man, I just want to say that I appreciate y'all. And thank y'all for the love y'all shown. And because of the love y'all shown, y'all lift me up in the spirits enough to really come back to the work and do what I need to do without prolonging, what needs to be done. Tracy Henry, thank you so much. I appreciate the support. I appreciate you. And matter of fact, I can shout out some of the people who are scanning the Cash App now. I might as well shout y'all out because, the support is appreciated. Wanda King, I want to thank Wanda King for the support. My brother Ezel, of course, man. Ezel has continually supported the material. He supported me Friday, I believe, as well. Man, I just want to thank y'all. I think people are scanning, trying to see how the thing works, but nonetheless, I appreciate whoever supports. And this Cash App thing is moving kind of slow too, so it may not be picking up everything yet. But nonetheless, and if y'all having any issues with the Cash App, just let me know in the chat. If that link right there is not working, just go to Nubreed Global Truth. But anyway, with all that being said, man, we're gonna continue building. Let my mom, she's gonna rest in peace. I know that she's with my great grandmother. I know that she's with my cousin Lily. I know she's with John. I know that she's with my dad. You know what I'm saying? They all gave their life to Christ. They all, that's the blessing. They all gave their lives to Christ before they left. And they all live rough lives. And I for the life of me, I can't imagine any of my family who've endured the things they doing, who endured the things they endured, not making it, especially when they gave their lives to Christ. So, and for those who don't know, I lost my cousin Will. We grew up. This all happened in 1 year. So I just want to express how this stuff changes you. My cousin Will, he died. He was killed in DC. And somebody shot him. And man, that hurt me a lot because me and Will, we were like brothers. I would stay over their house for the summer. Somebody said it's not working. I don't know why it wouldn't be working. It doesn't look like it's working because I see y'all scanning, but nobody is. Oh, no, yeah, it is working. It's working. Thank y'all. It's just moving slow. I guess because so many people showing up for me. So many people are showing up that it looks like it's just moving slowly. But I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna shout y'all out here in a minute once it all like catches up. But like I was saying, man, my cousin died. You know what's crazy about it, man? Like I used to spend the whole summers with them. Like my cousin Charlie, he grew up. He's a family man now. And my cousin Will, we were all like brothers. And they used to come to my house, stay for the summer. We'd be playing basketball all summer. We'd be outside all summer. I would go stay with them. My Aunt Nita and my Uncle Mac, man, they treated me like I was their child. You know what I'm saying? It didn't seem right if I wasn't over there the whole summer. And I had two cousins like that. Like I had my cousin Aaron, John, and all of them on my mother's side where I can stay summers with them. Or I had my cousins on my dad's side, Will, Charlie, and all of them, and I would stay summers with them. So I had the best of both worlds. And man, we were like brothers, man. So when I heard that he was shot and killed, man, it broke my heart, man. Because like my cousin, he was a street dude. Like I'm gonna just call it like it is. That dude, he didn't play no games, bro. He was out here. He knew what lifestyle he chose, but he was an intellect. Like he was one of those guys, like he in the streets, but he would sit up here, he would watch this stream and we can talk about everything in it. But that was just his life. Like he would talk to me. He could talk to you about anything, religion, science, whatever. But he was a street dude. And and his brother, man, his brother has so much. His brother, I respect him as a man so much. My cousin Charlie, because when Will passed, the streets was ready to do something. You know what I'm saying? The streets was ready to crash out. And you know what my cousin said? You know what this man of truth said? He said, that's not going to bring my brother back. My cousin stopped the streets from continuing murder, bro. I ain't never been so proud of that young man. Like, that's my younger cousin. Like, to hear the pain on his voice, he said, man, he said, that ain't bringing my brother back. When you niggas gonna stop this? That's a man right there. And guess what? The dude who did it ended up getting caught anyway because it was on a Ring camera. But what could have happened was the streets could have executed judgment. And guess what? More death, more murder, more violence. So I just thank the Most High for that. And I know, and then after that, like a few months after that, my cousin Lily passed. And she just got married. And this is on my mother's side. She just got married. She just, had a child, and she just didn't wake up. She just didn't wake up. And she was a very sweet person, bro. Like, she was a very sweet person. Like, she was always in church. She was a great mother. She was my younger cousin. I remember, like, she used to always ask me a bunch of questions. It used to drive me crazy. When we were kids, not as a grown woman, but when we were kids, she was very inquisitive, right? And her and my sister were best friends. So, my sister going through it, like, she lost her best friend. And so, yeah, and that all happened this year. Well, 2025, it all happened in 2025. And then, then my mom's this year. And, that y'all know how I feel about that. So, all in 1 year, man, that's the thing. Life ain't promised. You getting older. You can expect these things to happen. Some of these, just losing people younger than me, it really hurt too. But I want to shout out everybody who decided to come through, show some support. I'm trying to figure out why it's not. I can see. Okay, I see they changed the whole system, I think. I want to shout out Emery, Anna, Amanda. Thank you so much. Javier, Trail, and Ezel, as well as Vincent, Tierra, Exandra. I want to shout all y'all out for y'all support. I really appreciate y'all. And if y'all catch this on, anybody catch it on a playback, feel free to show your support. It is highly appreciated. Like I said, there's certain arrangements that got to be made. I gotta do some traveling, and y'all know how them gas prices are. Goodness gracious, y'all know how they are. But thank y'all for being here for me. Hopefully this broadcast helped you out in your walk and your journey, and you got something from it. And you were also informed to what's going on in the world, because we're going to keep it professional. And I know what y'all signed up for. Y'all signed up to hear world events. Y'all not going to always hear me getting on here telling my life story. I'm going to give y'all what y'all signed up for. So one love to y'all. Y'all be blessed out here. Stay safe. Everybody be blessed. One love. Peace.